We're on Gittin, Perak Hey, Mishnah Tet, 9th Mishnah in the 5th chapter of Masechet Gittin. We're going to conclude our discussion of Darkei Shalom, things halachot that Chazal permitted b'nei Darkei Shalom, because they wanted to create an atmosphere of peace between different types of people. So as we're going to see, there's a halacha that says, Ein machzikin yidei ovrei avera. If someone is sinning, you're not allowed to help them commit that sin. You're not allowed to help them engage in the behavior that's sinful behavior. So what happens though? Everybody does certain things that are less appropriate and other things that are more appropriate. So what behavior is considered mechazkin ovrei avera and what behavior is not considered mechazkin ovrei avera? Says the Mishnah, Mashalet isha lechaverta hachashuda al hashvi'it nafa ukvara v'rechaim v'tanor. Okay, a woman who is chashuda al shvi'it. The halacha is you're allowed to, during the 7th year, the shvi'it year, the shemitah year, you're allowed to bring the produce into your home and keep it as long as the produce is still available in the fields. As long as the animals can still eat it in the fields. So I'm allowed to, if corn grows in my field that grew naturally, I can keep the corn and store it in my house. But I'm not allowed to store it indefinitely. I can't store it long term. As long as that produce is available in the fields, I can have it in my house. But once the produce is not available, then I have to get rid of it. I have to do bi'ur. I have to get rid of it. Okay, but some people would be shomer perot shvi'it ulahatziyam. They would guard, they would keep the produce of shvi'it and hide them min ha-bi'ur ve'elach. Even from the time of bi'ur and onward. I mean, they would save them. People would just store the produce. Those people were chashud. They were suspected of shvi'it. And obviously we can understand that not everybody was able to stand the test of this requirement. You had food, you have to get rid of it, throw it away. So some people kept their shvi'it. So now what happens if my neighbor, I know everybody knows what people are, careful about certain things and other things are not careful. So my neighbor is what's called the chashuda al shvi'it. I know my neighbor, she keeps her stuff, she doesn't throw it away. Okay, but now she asks me, can I borrow your sifter or your sieve or your rechaim, or I have the grinder or your oven? So if I give her my sifter, she's now going to be sifting prohibited food. Is that considered machzikin yedei ovrei avera? She's sinning. She's not allowed to keep that produce. So now am I helping her by lending her my sifter? So the Mishnah says no. You can lend her, a woman can lend her friend who is chashuda and shvi'it, the nafa, the sieve, ukvara, and the sifter, and the rechaim, and the grinder, and the oven. But avalot tavor v'lo titchan ima. But she cannot actually do breira. She cannot actually, breira is the removing of the chaff. And she can't grind with her. Meaning she can lend her utensils, but she can't actively engage in it. Why? Bartanura says, you're not allowed to actually help with your hands. Meaning, I can lend her my utensils and she'll do what she does. I don't know if she's chashuda, but I don't know for sure. But to actively help her, I can't do it. Similarly, Eshet Chaver Mashaled le'Eshet Am Haaretz. Okay, Eshet Chaver, the Chaver was meticulous about Trumot and Maasrot, whereas the Am Haaretz, the wife of the Am Haaretz, the Bartanura says, was Chashuda ala Maasrot. Remember, in Maaser, they didn't care, they were not aware or they were not particular about Trumat Maaser. And so there's Truma in the Maaser. So I can lend her my Nafa, Ukvara, I can lend her the sieve and the sifter. Uboreret v'tochenet umrakenet imak. She can also do the breira, she can also do the separation and the grinding and the sifting with her. But ava mishet tatil hamayim. So now she's got flour. They ground together. But once the eshet am haaretz puts in water into the dough, then lo tigaima. Then she can't touch it. Why? Lefi she'ein machzikin yedei ovrei avera. Because you're not allowed to strengthen the hand or support those who sin. What's the sinfulness here? The point is, the Bartanura says, when the gilgala becomes around, i.e., when you make it wet, hutbala lechala, it became tevel for chala. Once you have dough, it now becomes chayav in chala. V'kam mitam'a machmat kelim tmeim sheyuchshara lekabel tuma. It's chayav in chala, and became the dough now. Once it became wet, it's muchshar lekabel tuma. V'zu mesaya legalgel. And this one is helping her. If the Eshet Chaver helps her to knead the dough, then she's machzik ba'ovrei avera because it's chala and it's become tameh. So you can help her do all the stuff while it's dry, But once water becomes involved, then you can't do it because that's actively helping. Mishnah says, v'kulan, all these halachot, all these halachot of kulot, lo amru elam ibnei darkei shalom. The only reason Chazal said you're allowed to do this is because ideally, if we think a person is sinning, then you shouldn't enter your sifter as well. But Chazal permitted it, they permitted all these things, mipnei darkei shalom. Lo itiru lashilam kelim, they only permitted the lending of vessels. Ulesayam b'lo shat evera, and to help them, elam mishum darkei shalom. Because it was more important, it's interesting. Even though in a sense you are aiding and abetting the commission of a sin, if someone's chashuda al shvi'it, the value of Darkei Shalom overrides as long as you're not personally involving. Mishnah concludes, Umachzikin yidei goyim b'shvi'it. And when the goy, you have non-Jews who are planting and harvesting, they're allowed to on Shvi. So you're like to be mechazek. Good job. You're allowed to encourage them. Avalo yidei Yisrael, but not Jews obviously because it's a sin. Mishoalim b'shlomam, you're allowed to ask about the well-being. Shalom b'shalom means to give greetings. Mivnei darkei shalom, again midar shalim. What is shlomam? Afilu b'yom chagam, even on their holidays, on their pagan holidays. Avapisha meitil shem shamayim al anachri, even though you place the name of God shalom al anachri. Nonetheless, mivnei darkei shalom, Chazal encouraged us to do so. Stop here. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.